Well, hi, I'm Leanne Notabartolo, and this is Good for Spooning and Maybe a Fork. I am here to teach you how to do something really fun, and we're going to call it playing with fire, or you might be a redneck if you cook with Jack Daniels. So, years ago, when I was very young and newlywed, I worked in a restaurant in Madrid, and one of the things that we had to do was Chateaubriand tableside, and it scared the living pants off me, and I almost set myself on fire. It is nothing to be afraid of. It's really simple. Anybody can do it. And I'm going to teach you how to do it my way, which is not the original way. So here we've got a beautiful tenderloin of beef, and we tied it up so it's not going to come undone while it's cooking. And we're just going to sprinkle the whole thing with a little bit of Cajun seasoning. You can use any brand that you like. I happen to like Tony Sachery, which is what I'm using today. And coat the whole thing, the ends. Rub it in, get it going really good. Now the cutting board that I'm using has a well in it, and that's going to be really important later on. Okay, now we've got this seasoned up. One of the keys to getting this seasoned properly is make sure it's dry before you sprinkle on your Cajun seasoning, because if it's wet, it's just going to become a mess, and when you go to put it on the grill, it's not going to be fun. So now that we've got it all seasoned, let's take this outside. Well, hi, here we are. We've got our seasoned meat, and I'm using a Char-Broil Infrared Advantix barbecue. Now, it's a gas grill, and I'm not going to get into the whole charcoal versus gas debate with you. I happen to like a gas grill, so that's what I'm using. And one of the reasons I like this particular grill is instead of having to heat my grates from back to front or front to back, this one lets me heat it up left to right. So I only have to heat up the portion of the grill that I really want to use. So I'm taking our meat, and you're going to listen for that sizzle. Woohoo! I love that sound. And we're going to let it roast here. Now, I'm not going to close it. I'm just going to come out every so often and turn it over so that it gets a nice, crispy, gorgeous crust on the outside. The seasoning is really going to cook into it. And when it's all done, then we're going to set this puppy on fire. I like to play with fire, and I hope you're going to like what I'm doing with this. So let's let it cook, and we'll get right back to it.
3.
Okay, we're back. Now, our meat has come off the grill, and I just tented it a little bit to keep it warm while I was getting ready for the side dishes. And you know, a beef tenderloin is going to be all different sizes, and one of the nice things about making this for company is that your narrow end is going to be more well done than your fat end, so you can accommodate a lot of different kinds of people's taste in meat. I happen to like mine really red, so hopefully I did this correctly, and this sounds nice and juicy red. Now, this is where the playing with fire comes in, and this is where you have to know to be particularly safe. Now, I have here a stainless steel ladle that I have heated up over a sterno. Remove the ladle from the sterno. That's how I almost set myself on fire. Pour your Jack Daniels into it. Oh, you see that? It flamed right up. We're going to pour it right on top. I have a bowl of water in the sink. And you see where I told you that the well on the cutting board was going to be helpful? Yeah, that's why. If you don't have a well, it could run off and be all over your counter. Now, if you're not a drinker, don't worry. The alcohol is all going to burn off and just leave that really great Jack Daniels flavor that you find in barbecue sauces and on ribs. And all you're doing is just continuing to turn it, turn it, turn it. You don't have to do anything fancy. And all of that will burn off. I used about 1/4 of a cup. You could use a little less, you could use a little more, depending on how big your piece of meat is. And you'll see that it's leaving all of the liquid in the bottom that's not alcohol. It's seasoned with the seasonings from the meat and a little bit of juice that comes out. Now, when your fire goes out, that means all your alcohol is burned off and you're ready to cut it. And we're going to actually let it sit for another couple minutes while we get our side dishes finished up. I've made some twice-baked potatoes. And we have some steamed broccoli and some sugar snap peas. Just really basic, easy things. You don't have to do anything fancy. I wish you guys could smell this. It just smells so fantastic. It's a really great fragrance when that bourbon starts to cook off. Now, you know, like I said, I use a set of tongs when I'm doing this. You can use a fork and a spoon to continually get the juice up on over the top. And I'm just going to pop off this so that it stops burning. Always a safety first, but you saw how quickly that, playing with fire, guys, gotta be careful. All right, so let's get a plate ready. Let's have a twice baked potato on there. And this is just a simple recipe. You can choose your favorite, it doesn't matter. Whichever recipe you like the best, that's the way to do it. And you know, don't be intimidated by this recipe. It is not really difficult. Anybody can do it. But I have to tell you, when I learned how, I was really scared. And I had to do it, and thank goodness I had a really good trainer who taught me how to do it and saved me from setting myself on fire. So I'm taking off the string. And I tied this one myself. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can actually ask your butcher to do it. You might not need to, you know, depending on what part of the tenderloin your fillet comes from. But one of the things you have to keep in mind is tenderloin is really tender because of where it comes from. It's a muscle that doesn't get used much. So it's right in the back, running next to the spine, between the spine and the ribs. So it's gonna not be used a whole lot, and it's gonna be really tender and juicy. Okay, let's see how it came out. Let's see. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Woohoo! Nice and red, crispy on the outside. Let's just take a little piece of that off. Let's taste that. See how easily that knife goes through? That's fantastic. Everybody should be lucky enough to be eating this tonight. So what I'm going to tell you guys is this. When our side dishes are ready, dinner's going to be on the table that fast. And this is something really impressive that you can make for your friends and family anytime. So thanks so much for watching. Keep checking back here for more recipes. My name is Leanne, and this is Good for Spooning and Maybe a Fork.